All right, folks, so welcome to Honors Physics. I'm Mr. Salona, and I wanted to take you through just a quick tour of our syllabus and some procedural stuff. So I'm going to go through this rather quickly. So overview of the syllabus, this is what we're going to talk about. The required materials you need for the course, my contact info, some topics we're going to cover, and extra help. I'm going to talk about my expectations for you in the class, the grading breakdown and categories for how we score things, lab guidelines, and then finding information, resources on Google Classroom. So that's the things we're going to cover. So first, my contact info. I prefer to be contacted by email. It's probably the quickest way to get a hold of me. So my email's there, george.celona, CELONA, at ssdcougars.org. You can also use the ssdstudent.org. It'll come to me either way. This is my phone extension, 938-6221. So if you or your parent want to call me at school, that's my extension. We're going to use Google Classroom, so that's set up there. We're also going to use two different texts primarily. So we use the physics classroom quite a bit. So www.physicsclassroom.com will be on that site quite often. And we'll also have a physical textbook. It's Physics 6th edition by Douglas J. Coley. Okay, so what do you need to bring to class? You need to bring your Chromebook every day. Make sure it's charged, and bring your charger, especially obviously if it's later in the day, you're going to need your charger. But we use the laptops quite a bit, so we want to make sure that those are ready. You also need a scientific or a graphing calculator. I'm aware that many of you have like a TI-83 or an 84, that's fine. But any calculator that can do logarithms, exponents, and trigonometric functions, that will work just fine. You need a notebook for class, and you need writing utensils. Those things should be pretty obvious. Okay, next, talk about makeups and extra help. So first of all, students are responsible for makeup work. Makeup should be scheduled as soon as a student returns from absence. The key point here, guys, is that I will not seek out students to make up work. It is your responsibility. If you are missing things, they're going to go into gradebook as a 0. It is up to you to make sure that you come to me and schedule makeups. As far as extra help, I'm available for extra help just about every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can stop in right after school and go over anything that you need. I can be available at other times. If we need to meet before school, or you can't make a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, we need to do something else, I can make that happen, but I need to know in advance, so you can email me or talk to me in person so that I can schedule that for you. Okay, expectations and procedures. So I spell this out in the actual syllabus. You should probably take a look at the syllabus itself, but this is just an outline. So first of all, engage in the classroom activities. Physics is a very hands-on science, and there's a lot of things that you can relate to, things that you do every single day or you experience every single day. So engage in the activities, and you're going to get the most out of the class. Follow the school rules. That should be pretty obvious. You need to show up for class, and you need to show up on time. So I am expecting excellent attendance from you. I want you to clean up your mess. You come in, a lot of times we move into groups. We might take out items. You want to make sure that everything gets put back. If you bring, a drink to class or something like that, that you make sure it finds its way to recycling and all that sort of thing. Be open-minded. I want everybody to feel safe in the classroom and be able to answer questions and not have, fear of rejection or worry about what other students think about their response. No electronics without permission. To be quite honest, honors physics is a tricky subject. You really can't afford to be distracted. You need to be focused on class throughout the entire 51 minutes. And I am the type of teacher that will teach for the entire time from start to finish. So no electronics without permission. If you're using the Chromebooks, you're only using it for what it's intended for. No phones or anything like that without permission. I expect that you turn in all work on time and be proud of it. As you're going to see, I do not accept late work. I do not accept late labs. I do not accept late homework. I do not accept late work in general. So you need to turn your work in on time, and you should turn in quality work. And then if you need to leave the room for some reason, follow the procedure for sign out and sign in. And I'll go over that with you in class. It's just easier to do there. Okay, here's our grading breakdown. So tests and quarterly exams are 40% of your grade, and there's roughly 2 of those per quarter. Quizzes are 15%, like a mini test, and they're always announced. I don't give pop quizzes in this way. We have lab activities and lab reports, 25%, and we have roughly 4 to 7 of these per quarter, especially in the beginning of the year. We're pretty heavy on the lab. Homework is 10%. The lowest homework grade that you have in gradebook will be dropped each quarter. And we do warm-up or exit ticket or checks for understanding. These will be done in a pop fashion, so you won't know in advance. These are worth 10% of your overall grade, and the lowest grade is also dropped from this category. If you want a more detailed breakdown of these categories, see the syllabus, and it goes into more detail about that. Okay, lab. Lab is a critical part of this course. You're going to do more in lab in physics than you ever did in biology or chemistry. So we're going to be in the lab quite a bit. Sometimes we're going to do pieces of a lab report, and sometimes we're going to do an entire formal lab report. You're going to do at least one each quarter, a formal report. The syllabus and Google Classroom have lots of resources to help you do a good job on labs. So you want to make sure you follow those examples. I will spell this out more when we get into it in class, but you want to really follow the script. I definitely nitpick the labs quite a bit because I want to be very specific about what you are expected to do. For that reason, you should also seek out my feedback on labs before final submission. So you can work on a draft. You can bring it to me and say, hey, here's what I've worked on so far. How does it look? And I'd be happy to go over that with you and tell you about things you can tweak. And we're going to use Turnitin for labs. So make sure that you sign up for Turnitin. You should have gotten the information for that in class. If you didn't yet, make sure that you get that. Okay, math skills. Just a reminder, math skills are necessary for success in honors physics. Physics is a very quantitative science. I spelled out the skills that are required of you in the math skills packet. That's why I put it together for you to do over the summer. You're going to be assessed on your knowledge of this material on Monday, September 9th. Make sure you know how to do what's in that packet. In fact, the quiz I'm going to give you on Monday the 9th is going to look just like the last 2 pages of the math skills packet. So if you look at those last pages, that's what the quiz is basically going to be, with maybe just some different numbers or different examples. So that'll give you an idea of what I'm expecting you to be able to do. I will not be covering this material in class. If you need help, if you need a refresher, come and see me privately. We can meet after school and go over some of that stuff, but we're not going to be doing it in class in the first week. And if you feel like you've never learned the material in the packet, we should probably talk about whether or not honors physics right now is the best choice. You know, it might be something where getting a little more math behind you is a good idea. So that's something we should have a conversation about, and you really shouldn't feel funny about coming to have that conversation. I think it's important that you do it. So this was just an overview of some things that I wanted to go over with you. I wanted to spend the time in class doing more interesting things, demonstrations and such, and introductions. So I saved this for you to take a look at on your own time after school. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, either email me or we can chat in class. Thanks.